I now have the privilege to introduce our next speaker. And our next guest is Flo Karuna. And before I do his official bio here, I just connected with Flo, I think, anywhere from 4 to 8 months ago, because time eludes me. But we had a connection, and there seems to be a lot of synergy with what we're doing. The reason why I really wanted to connect with him in the first place is I added him on Facebook, Starseed page that he has on on Instagram. And immediately I took a look at one of his live streams. The energy and the heart connection that he had just from tuning into one of his Instagram lives and just listening to his voice and the way he shared what he had to express was just so impactful and profound that it really made me feel a deep connection to this individual and made me feel good about just life in general. So I wanted to work with him and connect, and we've had a few opportunities to do so, have conversations. Not only is he connected to Starseeds and has a Starseed course that I'm hoping he'll share with everybody today, but he's also a hip hop artist like myself and is really much into music and expressing himself through the poetic expression. So Flo Karuna is a world soul traveler that journeyed through the planet with miracles occurring through intuition and faith. He has been referred to as a channel for Earth consciousness and is passionate about sharing the offerings that unify the planet for the next 7 generations and beyond. His life has been dedicated to empowering others, the teachings of Mother Earth, and connecting others to the galactic realms. He is the creator of the group Oracle Masters of Light and Pleiadian Starseed Oracle deck that I'll post in the chat in just a second here. And he's also the founder of Star Codes, which offers Starseed activations. So everybody, please join me in welcoming the brother Flo Karuna. Amen.
Thank you, Brother Neil, and appreciate this opportunity as always. And thank you, Sheila, Alan, for hosting, and all you beautiful souls in the audience. So there's a lot to share today.
Thank you, man. I always appreciate you being here and being a part of these gatherings and everything you do. So take it away, man. It's all yours.
Thank you, brother. Well, honored to be here, Star family. Honored to be here in this time of converging, in this time of remembering our galactic truth. And despite everything happening in the world today, from the subtle realities, there is hope. There is the dawning of dimensions. There is the birthing of a group consciousness occurring in the collective. And we as starseeds are incredibly blessed to be at this conjunction in the moment right here, right now. And this conference is a reflection of what is happening. So there's a lot to talk about, and I'm going to dive right into it. But before I started this talk today, maybe around an hour ago, in my meditation, a jaguar approached me. A jaguar from the Amazonian jungles. And it gave me a sort of communication that a lot of logging and people who are destroying our beloved mother are encroaching on this jaguar's territory. And I felt a great deal of compassion when I received this information, and I began to do what I could do in the energetical realm to potentially clear that space. But that interaction with the jaguar made it real clear to start today's conversation with our beautiful home, Mother Earth, Mother Gaia, Pachamama, this grand planet that we are blessed to be residing on. This planet that is a data bank of information to allow us to remember our galactic truth. And in this journey of starseeds, yes, it is important to connect with the star races. I actually do a course on this, connect with the various beings of light, but also I always stress the importance to anchor and root down into our planet, because to do so is to link your consciousness with a supposed cloud drive. So like we have in our internet space reality, we have these cloud drives that are data banks of knowledge and information that in the invisible webs we connect to and receive whatever we seek. And on the same regard, in the center of Pachamama, in the crystalline cores, there is a crystal center. And just as we know in our scientific realms that a crystal, quartz crystals or any crystal, can hold a frequency, so too are there data banks in the middle of our planet. And when we as starseeds begin to anchor down and connect with our beloved Earth, we link up into the greater story of why we're here, who are we, and the story of ancient cultures behind us and ahead of us, whatever that means in the time-space continuum. So I just invite you all, I know we did a little of that in the light language activation, but I just invite us all as an Earth family to place our palms on Mother Gaia or our feet, soles, and let's just connect with the frequency of Earth. And asking for our consciousness to penetrate deep into our planet, go down like roots via our consciousness, and feel our energy connecting now with the central cores of Earth, the great light crystalline chambers. And as we feel that connection with the central core, using the power of our intention to ask for the information and knowledge of the central core to be linked with our conscious awareness. For us to receive now the stories and the vibration of this ancient Earth that has had so many civilizations beyond our history books. And be asked to open into that awareness and expand that into the morphogenetic field, awakening the truth in all of human consciousness. And just breathing that in, breathing that into your heart. And perhaps patting your body. So in these times, as mentioned, it is so important to have an anchoring and a groundedness to Mother Earth and to be in our human temple. The reason for this is when we are anchored in our body, when we are rooted in our human self, it allows for the cosmic codes that are embedded into our reality and raining down to interweave with our DNA, interweave with our cells and molecular structure. But without the rooting, without the anchoring, without the being human, we bypass this connection that expands our DNA. And it's so important that we honor our incarnation here in the human form, even though we've been starseeds, even though we've lived countless incarnations, we have to use this tool that we've been given. And the human body is a great tool that we could all use for evolution and to remember who we are. So just like an engineer can code software, so too do we have the ability to code our genetical field. So too do we have the ability to open our DNA with our thoughts, with our intentions, with the power of vibration, with the power of connecting to Mother Earth. And out of those mentioned, the power of vibration is one that continues to replay in my communication with the various star races, and that's what I would like to talk about a little today. So we just were blessed to receive the language of light. And light language is something that I've been blessed to receive and now communicate in my journey as a starseed on Earth. My journey with light language began in 2011 in Vancouver, Canada, where I had a good friend of mine. Her name was Joy Hemphill, and she was a channeler. So I was just beginning my awakening journey. And every time I connected with Joy, this language of light would come out. I guess the Star family knew I was a good guinea pig because I was so sensitive. And every time she relayed the light language, I felt something occurring in me from a vibrational level. But due to my conditions of being on Earth, I thought the light language was an actual dialect language. And every time she would relay the light language to me, I would telepathically bombard her with the question, say it in English, say it in English, say it in English. That would be a constant request. So after like several times of her giving me these light language transmissions, one day we were on the phone with each other, and she was once again giving me the relay of light language. And once again, I was saying in telepathic, say it in English. This time I got my wish. She changed from the light language into a tone, and the words that came out from her mouth were, "We are your Palladian family of light, and we're here to upgrade you." I didn't really know exactly what that meant, but it became clear to me that day, instantly after the English came out, that the language of light wasn't a language to be uncoded with our logical mind, but it was actually a language of vibration that was meant to meet our body, meet our DNA, meet our molecular structure, and begin to transform it through the power of vibration. So when we engage with light language, it's so important to be in an open, receptive state. And this vibration is where our species is returning to as we begin to open up into the knowledge of sound, the knowledge of vibration, and how our tones and our vocals can change our reality. So as mentioned, I run a 7-week Starseed course on starcodes.net, and last week we were working with the Andromeda Galaxy. So I've been very blessed in this life to be an open receiver and to get information. And I won't go too deep into my story, but it began a piece of the puzzle was when I was in the Sonora Desert. I was about to go on a trip into Mexico. I didn't know I was about to crystal grid the country of Mexico, and the borders wouldn't open till 6 in the morning. So we camped out near the Sonora Desert, near the border that night. And as we were parked in the desert, I had a Westphalia van, and looking at the expansive sky around me, a voice started to enter my field, a voice that I knew was my thoughts. And it was a message that it was a family from Alpha Centauri, which is the nearest star to Earth. I've never even heard of Alpha Centauri at that moment, but I realized that something was opening in my awareness. And as the years went on, I began to develop relationships with many star family who are seeking to engage in communication once our vibrational frequency is changed. So like a radio receiver, our being, when we attune our antennae or tune our vibration to a specific hertz frequency, we naturally pick up on radio stations of the universe. So this body we have, this vibration, when we begin to engineer it, when we begin to play with it, we can actually connect with specific species. So as I've developed relationships with the Palladians, with the with beings from Sirius, with beings from Andromeda, with the Hathors, and many others. You develop a relationship, and they begin to teach me tools that humanity can use to empower their lives and evolve. So the contact has already begun in many levels. And as we, as humans and starseeds, begin to up our frequency, we're naturally going to pull forth these beings into our field. And what humanity needs to understand is we're the gate openers to contact. The star family is very evolved. They've dealt with civilizations that have transformed and evolved. And through their experience, they've learned that if they are to interfere directly on the physical reality, that it could hinder the evolution of our species. And with that information, they want to teach us how to fish rather than give us fish. And this is where the taking the doors open by coming into our individual field and becoming aware of this vehicle we reside in. And when we begin to become aware of this vehicle we reside in and start to pay attention to maybe genetical imprints that no longer serve us, or society programming that has been embedded into us, and when we become aware of these programs and patterns that aren't in alignment with the new dimensional human, they naturally begin to clear from your field. And the metaphor for our field is literally a field for a farmer who's unweeding himself so he could have an abundant crop. And this is what most starseeds have been doing for the past lifetime in the past. But as we have collectively begin to weed these ancestral traumas, these programs of our system, we've connected that to the morphogenic field, and we've opened up a gateway where we're all about to evolve rapidly. And we're getting a taste of the physical field because of what's happening in the physical reality, of what's happening in our conscious. So everything's interconnected from the dimensional plane. And in our physical reality, we're about to do a quantum jump. We're about to transform into electric and from oil and gas. We're about to enter a sort of crypto, sort of currency frequency. And we're about to enter a decentralized world where as we leave this masculine cycle where there's one leader, we enter into the decentralized feminine spirituality. I like to call it like every cycle humanity's in is always leaning slightly to the masculine or feminine. And we're entering a slightly tilting feminine cycle. And with that, all the rules of reality are about to change. And there is nothing that could stop it, because just like when spring comes after winter, the entire earth shifts. More animals come, more life comes, the thawing of the snow, and everything transforms. You cannot stop these seasons. And in that same regard, we cannot stop this season occurring in our reality right now. And what this entails for the human is a completely new way of operating, where we begin to enter into a group consciousness sort of mentality. Now, group consciousness is exciting. We're kind of in the energy field of group consciousness right now. And I invite you to just simply become aware of the collective of starseeds present. Let's just expand beyond our field and just feel the collective energy of us. A great way to weave into a group conscious mentality is to shift your focus to your pineal gland. The pineal gland, or third eye chakra, if some others want to call it that, is a gateway into the sort of neural network of the invisible. And as we become aware of our pineal gland, let's just open that chamber and connect, weave right now to one humanity consciousness, as Alan was saying earlier. And when we're in this open web, we begin to evolve rapidly because we begin to share our teachings. We begin to share our evolution. We begin to share our mastery. And as a collective, we begin to rise and grow together. So I say this because where we're headed is group mind. The group mind is going to transform our reality. And when we look at the various star races, the Pleiadians or the Arcturians, or the various galactic councils, there's always the word council involved. And council is a way that the original people on this planet operated, the natives, and why they were in council, because the natives are connected to the star people because we all came from the stars. So in the original teachings of group consciousness was to come in a formation of a circle and for us to weave our energy fields together. Grandma's web, spider woman. We hear these terms in certain native cultures. So as we begin to weave our energy, we all collectively open. And in this feminine cycle, the responsibility of us as an individual doing all the work is taken off our shoulders. This doesn't equate to being lazy, of course, or neglecting that inner work, but it says that we're going to receive a lot of help. We're going to receive a lot of community support. And as we're feeling that understanding, may you release any weight off your field. May you release any burdens off your field that you had to lone wolf it, that you had to do it all yourself. That programming and pattern has put so much misery in our reality. We look at some of our elders and seniors of our time, and we have to reopen and reweave back into this community group consciousness opening. So these conferences and us coming together is how we initiate that process. And just like the Pleiadians or the Arcturians or other species communicated to the natives that to stay in this council, we're once again spiraling and repeating cycles to communicate to you all now that the time has come to return to the council. The time has come for you to find your star family and your soul family, to seek them or request for them to the energetical field, and to begin to engage in recreating the reality from the container of the group. You're going to all find that when you access these groups, when you find your tribe, so to speak, that your life is going to take on a rapid evolution, that your neurons are going to fire more rapidly, because our brain, they say, what, I don't know the exact percentage, but 80, 90%, 95% of the cells aren't fully operating. And that is because this brain that we carry is actually a plug-in device. And it needs to be plugged in to group consciousness. It needs to be plugged in to the central core. It needs to be plugged into the entire universe at large, because this is a tool, a piece to the entire neural network. And when we open and connect to this field, all our cells begin to invigorate. All our neurons begin to fire. And we realize that everything is a reflection of ourselves. Everything is part of the oneness consciousness. And this is where we are headed as a society and as a family. But of course, on the journey to do so, there's speed bumps, but we're getting there. So as we plug in to the field, specifically to the universal field, the galactics begin to empower us on the quantum field. And the quantum field is, I feel, our star family giving us everything we need to claim this earth to be free. The quantum axis is so powerful because it's giving you a tool to begin to tinker with the past reality to impact the current reality. And it's beginning to expand us into a dimensional awareness of time where it's not just start to finish, but it's an infinite spiral, infinite loop. And this is where the power comes into play. So I've been being trained with timeline jumping since 2012. And I used to volunteer for the Pachamama Alliance, and this is going to connect with the Jaguar now. So I used to volunteer with the Pachamama Alliance, and they were this incredible organization where they're teaching the wisdom of the Amazon jungle to the Western societies with hopes that the Western worlds would rethread into their ancient knowing. So in 2012, I taught my first symposium, and it was at a friend's house, and we had around 20 people. So I did the symposium, and at the end of the symposium, there was around like 5 people left, and we decided to do like a little ceremony slash pipe ceremony to smoke the native tobacco. So we all sat in a circle, and actually the channeler Joy, she was present. Now I had been friends with Joy for the past 2 years at that point, and while we were doing the ceremony, she started to say that the room is filled with native ancestors. And she began to sing native chants. Now, Joy, I've never seen this side of her, and I've never seen her do chanting, I've never seen her do hymns, so it was pretty amazing to witness that. And as we began to weave into the way of her ancestors, I was just zapped into the jungle. And I saw myself in the jungle in the body of a jaguar. And the jaguar was blue. And the spirit kept saying, "You are blue jaguar. You are blue jaguar." I didn't really understand it, but it just kept saying, "You are blue jaguar." So we came out of the ceremony, and a part of me didn't want to honor that name because I just thought somebody in my external reality had to point that out. And the spirit said clearly, "The spirit is more real than this plane. You must honor this name." So I took those words to heart, and I began to honor that word blue jaguar as my sort of native name from past times or future times. So the word blue jaguar was circling in my brain after that experience. I went home, and the next day I'm like, how do I learn more about this experience? I ended up going on Google, and I searched blue jaguar right away, and I just got pictures of cars and jaguar cars. So I'm like, oh, what am I going to do with this? So I tuned into my intuition, and something said, search for the words blue jaguar medicine. So I searched blue jaguar medicine, and the first page I found, I don't know if this page exists anymore, but the first page I found was this incredible website. It kind of felt unreal, and it was filled with wisdom, ancient wisdom, and it kind of seemed to have a mix of Buddhism mixed with shamanism. And I was really interested in those things at the time, and I've never stumbled upon something that has those two at that moment. So I was perusing the site, and there's so many links, but one particular link got my attention. I clicked on it, and it was an article on how to timeline jump. And I read the article, and this is where my personal journey with playing with time begun. And it opened up a complete different reality. So before I get to that, we're all being trained to this quantum field. We're all being trained to play around with time. And this journey to play around with time begins in the field of manifestation. So in these new age communities, or just in self-help or self-improvement, we've heard about The Secret. We've heard about people who are trying to manifest their reality. And I've realized that this journey for our individual self to learn how to manifest is like the kindergarten of quantum physics. Eventually, learning how to manifest should rise up the ladder, and you should know how to play with time and know how to play with your body and heal yourself, because the foundation for how to manifest is very similar for how to timeline jump and how to heal your body. And what that is you have an ability with your conscious awareness to seed the field and seed your temple. So your awareness can actually embed codes. Your awareness or thoughts can embed a program to your cells to listen. And we really have to understand how powerful we are with our thought process, with our awareness, and with our energy body. Because as we empower ourselves and learn how to manifest, we realize that this field is liquid and is mirroring our consciousness. So we're the ones who are either going to enslave ourselves or liberate ourselves. It's not going to be some Democrat or Republican. It's not going to be somebody outside ourselves. It's going to be yourself tapping into your device, that is this temple, and beginning to unlock any programs that no longer serve yourself or your generations ahead. And this is the power of the now. And practical ways that we can begin this process is to harness the power of sound. So as I speak with these galactic beings, they always talk about similar things: the quantum field, multi-dimensionality, and sound. And essentially what sound is it's a way to impregnate the field. So with our prayers, with our thoughts, we are sending energetical residue to the world around us, and the energetical field is beginning to rewire. And when we look back at the native cultures of time and the earth honoring ancestors of past, present, and future, we observe that praying with music was a big part of these cultures. So we really, to begin this evolutionary journey and to begin to take control of our surroundings and our lives, we have to use this tool of voice, use this tool of sound to begin to start to change the field around us. And some exercises that they have taught me is you could do this at your own time, and we teach some similar stuff at the course. But you could go into your temple. You could go set some time, just be by yourself, close your eyes, and begin to tone in specific resonant frequencies. Perhaps you're gonna tone from a really like Tibetan throat chakra. Okay, so that's a frequency, and that is a vibration that's affecting your field. And then you tune into your heart and you attempt to let out a tone from your heart. And you once again pay attention to how your body reacts. Then you do a very high pitched tone and see how your body reacts. If you're sensitized to the tones or sounds coming up, you'll realize that your energetical field is dancing in a specific way to every resonance that you lay out. They show in these science experiments, I think they're like grains of sand or grains of rice, and they do sound around these grains, and it feels the vibration, and then these sands like organize to specific geometric patterns based on the sound resonance. This is occurring because sound is an organizer to the field. And when you are feeling off tune, you can retune yourself with specific sound frequencies to be in your most optimal state. This is important work and powerful work. One of my teachers that I was blessed to have in this lifetime, who's now passed away, his name was Rainbow Thunderheart. He was a Sundance chief for the Shoshone Nation in, I believe, Wyoming. Don't hold me to that. I don't know the exact state. And I was blessed to meet this being when I went to Mount Shasta. And what this individual was teaching was specific places on our earth let out a vibrational pattern that people pick up unconsciously and replay. So for example, say you're in a piece of land where there's been a war. If the land has not been cleared, people will pick up unconsciously with that war frequency and play it out in a different way. I connected that personally with my theory. When you look on the east coast of the US, specifically in the South, slavery was a big thing in those past times, unfortunately. And of course, that's been removed on from those times, but the earth is still embedded in those frequencies, and that could turn into racism or, not treating people equally. So what my teacher would do, he would go to these places on earth that were not in harmonious alignment with their sound and replay songs. And through that replaying of songs, through that singing, through those ceremonies with crystals, the earth would reset, and the human would stop unconsciously picking up on the stories of the past. Now, if that is happening from a grounded earth level, imagine how that's replaying in your field, where your molecular structure is carrying the residue of the ancestors of the past or society of the past. So we have to be given specific tools to combat that. And our tools as Starseed is the power of sound. It is sound that is going to be able to clear your field. It is sound where you're going to be able to imprint and embed the program or the opening for what you seek. And it's sound that's going to transform our field all around us. So there's infinite power, and I really implore you all to begin to play with these frequencies and to begin to become aware of how sound is affecting your field. If you look in our radios today, we've heard that the hertz frequencies have shifted. Music used to be operating from a 432 hertz frequency, and I believe it's 440. I'm not exactly, but it's off the hertz frequency. And that's actually impacting our being, because specific hertz frequencies can take you off tilt or put you into alignment. Sound is the medicine of the past, and sound will be the medicine of our future, where doctors will not just, and when I say doctors, it will be ourselves. The doctors will become aware of a vibration that's off in our body and tap into our knowledge of sound to deliver the specific frequency to harmonize that aspect of our being. And when we become self-aware of our field, we can begin that today. So maybe you have something feels off in your back, or something feels off in your knees. We have to become self-aware of these areas. We have to feel the specific vibrational frequency, become sensitized to it. And when we're sensitized to it, we can begin to use our ability to co-create with existence to send a tone to that part of our body. And this is the way that Egyptians have operated in the past with sound healing in Atlantean times, and this is where we are headed as a collective in the future. I've always had an understanding or a message that all the future teachers on earth were going to be musicians, because sound has such a powerful way to organize the field. And from my experience working with the Hathors, for example, or exploring the Andromeda galaxy, there is a deep understanding on the potential of sound from these beings, and they want to weave us back into that knowing. So I invite you in exercise or in next time, sometime during this week, to sit in your alone time and begin to tone certain resonances and just feel how it's impacting your vibration. Then you could begin to play with specific words. You could just chant joy, 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 and just feel what it's doing to your field. And then maybe other words and just seeing what it's doing to your field. And the purpose of these exercises is to realize how the vibration of sound is impacting you every moment. It is very potent for us to harness these abilities. And then you don't have to just access sound. You could begin to visualize colors. And colors has a vibration too. Just because we cannot hear a sound, there's still a sort of sound frequency from everything, and specific colors emit a specific vibration. So that goes back into your self-healing practice. Maybe some part of you is once again feeling off. You could request to that body part what specific color it needs for vibrational alignment. And then you begin to transmit that color through your awareness conscious into that part of the body, and things begin to harmonize. I share this, and the Galactics share this, because we are the masters of our being. This vehicle we've been given, we have to understand it with self-knowledge. When we understand it with self-knowledge, we are given the manual to use it to its highest optimal potential. And as we begin to continue to evolve into the next cycles and beyond, the human is going to realize the potential and the power of their consciousness, the power of their vibration, and the power to interact with the field all around them. And this is necessary because we have placed ourselves, sometimes you place yourselves in situations to get a lesson. And this doesn't justify the moment, but I feel we as a collective have put ourselves in such a challenging situation, for only our mastery will heal the world. Only our starseed gifts will heal pollution, will heal the oceans. A lot of the masters of India have spoken on something called siddhis. Siddhis are when a yogi hits a certain state of being and they begin to access gifts that transcend the field and transcend the 3D constructs. I've heard about incredible siddhis from many yogic beings. Some beings don't have to breathe. Some beings don't eat. Some beings can bilocate. Some beings can fly. These are documented stories in Mother India of past. And on the yogic path, we would always say it's not about the siddhis, it's about being liberated. But the siddhis are a natural gift component added to you as you raise your frequency, because we have dimensional gifts that seek to be accessed. And as our planet evolves, we continue to go into the next stratosphere of dimensional operation, we're going to be bestowed gifts. Gifts are awaiting all of you to be harnessed for to serve the planet and to serve our future galactic civilizations. So my prayer is you are guided to your dimensional gifts. My prayer is you're guided to all your soul gifts to be fully activated and for your full potential to be realized as a human starseed. May your cells open to the full potential of the new human. May you be the living embodiment of truth. May your presence and vibration shift the field to bring us all to harmony, unity, peace, compassion, and love. You are powerful, dear ones. You are powerful. We've lived too many lifetimes of authorities telling us we are unworthy. And we liberate ourselves by declaring we are worthy. We are holy. We are one with God's source creation. And the truth is in you, the love is in you. And you do not need anybody to tell you how to live your life, for the blueprint for how to live your life is embedded in you. And may you empower that inner knowing, because that inner knowing is going to guide you to your fullest potential, blossom your understanding, and allow you to be the living galactic incarnate in human form on earth in this precious time we all have. So may you seize this gift of life. May you bring love, bring harmony, and live your truth, whether it's saying no or saying yes. But we honor you, and I thank you all for coming to this planet. This is a challenging school. We all go through our dark night of the soul here. We've all been hurt down, but we've continually got up. And that is the beauty of our species. That is the beauty of us. We are persistent and we're adaptable. We've adapted in the Arctic, we've adapted in the Amazon, and we will adapt to this moment as our dimensional gateways open, and we will show the true potential of our species. So I love you all. I think that's good. And namaskar.
Beautiful, brother. Thank you so much for the inspiration and the activation. I was wondering, are you willing to share some poetry with us too?
I could try, man.
You don't have to if you don't want to. You can just tell us about your course as well, so that people can connect. But if you have something ready available that you some of your music, you can share that too.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe I could share one of my videos if that's cool.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, let's do a little screen share. Make sure
Okay.
you click the audio button too.
Okay, and just parental discretion advised. There is some swearing this. I apologize, anyone, but for me, I think it's important to use all the tools of totality to your advantage without judgment. So I did swear, and yeah, let me just pull it up.
As long as you're not talking about cash and bling, it's all good.
No. Okay. All right. Share screen. All right.
Liberation. We on the run from the motherfucking cops. We on the run from the motherfucking government. We on the run. Nah, fuck that. We got the power of the sun. Blasting light, blasting vibration, blasting frequency, enter Star Nation. We turning dials on your radio station. Downloads encoded, enter in your cranium. Don't need uranium, it's time we shake it up a little. Open up the riddle, no longer the monkey in the middle. Played like a fiddle, 4 centuries. They won't let us breathe, now we hold Starseed technology inside of me. Shape-shifting reality, tripping Babylonian towers. Come take back your power, take back your marijuana. Fuck the news, media drama. Root down and plug yourself into the mama. Earth healers and these kundalini drug dealers. Shifting up terrain by alchemize your pain. Bring the rain, not fuck it, bring the thunder. And let it pour until we immersed in this wonder. Starseed wanted for crimes of liberating and unifying. Yo, we waking up the planet. Yo, we waking up the planet. Yeah, we waking up the planet.
We waking up.
Yeah, we waking up the planet.
Waking up.
Yeah, we waking up the planet.
We waking up.
Yeah, we waking up the planet.
Starseed wanted.
Human frequency is rising up.
Rising up.
Old world order is dividing up. Divine feminine is leading up.
Lead the way.
Aggressive masculine is trying up. Fake leaders are being exposed. Love is replacing all the gold. Passion is replacing outdated work. Crystal children are being birthed. Food is turning into medicine. Healthy crops is how we win. Church foundations starting to crack. Politicians can't hold on to the mask. News media can no longer trick. Timelines opening like Morty and Rick. Healthy rivers are starting to flow. Organic seeds are starting to grow. Teachers are breaking curriculum. Galactic channels are delivering. Releasing of the caste system. Power, listen to divine wisdom. Healing connected to energy. World taking back their mastery. We spent all our lives pulling out the weed. No time for the living the weak. Starseed. Starseed wanted for crimes of liberating and unifying. Yo, we waking up the planet. Yo, we waking up the planet. Yeah, 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 we waking up the planet.
Starseed wanted. Starseed wanted for crimes of unification, liberation, coming from the Star Nation, Galactic Federation. Yeah, we waking up the planet. 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 Yeah, we waking up the planet.
Alrighty.
Nice, bro. The beat, the visuals, that was epic, bro. Thank you so much.
Thanks, brother.
Mhm.
Appreciate it.
Also, Sheila, I saw you came on earlier. I think you wanted to chime in here and make a comment with Flo. Go ahead.
Yeah, I did. I shared one of your cards from the deck that you did, and I had a couple comments from people, and they wanted to know where they could purchase that deck.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, it's sold out in the moment, but we're gonna have more in December, and it'll be on Amazon. The Palladian Starseed Oracle deck.
Mm-hmm.
I love the Palladians. They've just been so interwoven with humanity, and so yeah, you could check that out on Amazon, and also have the Starseed 7-week Starseed course. We're going to be doing our last one, which is on star-codes.net.
Awesome.
Appreciate your
Great.
time.
Could you talk a little bit about the inspiration for your deck?
Yeah, oh man, I feel like the Palladians have been following me since I awoke, which is crazy. I remember being in Vancouver where my journey started, and people started mentioning the Palladians a lot around me. Actually, there is a little story. When I first got to Vancouver, I was about to board a bus and I fell into a trance. It's to this day it's never happened, and something kind of took over me in that moment and said, "Go on this bus, get off here. Go on this bus, get off here." And 40 minutes later, I'm in this bookstore, and I get guided straight to a specific shelf. And I'm not into the star stuff at this time. This is like 2010 or 2011. I always forget the dates. And this book gets my attention, and I pull it off the shelf, pay for the cash register, and I get outside. And as soon as I get outside, I snap out of trance. And I'm like, how did I get here? And what the heck is this book in my hand? And it was the Palladian channeled book Earth. by Barbara, I forget her last name,
And Cloud.
Marciniak one?
Maustiniak.
Yeah. That was a great book.
So I'm like, oh my God, what is this Palladian Channel book? Okay, I trust it. And I just kept it. And when I read that book, everything seemed to open in my awareness field. And then things got a little crazy because I got new roommates, and my roommates were obsessed with the Palladians, and starships were always following us. And it was just like following your destiny, you know?
Awesome.
Thank you,
Yeah.
brother.
When
Thanks.
it's time to awaken, the star people start to show up for sure.
Yes.
So appreciate you so much, man. Everybody look forward to many more collaborations with Flo and even potential songs together in the future. There's just so much synergy and parallels in the work we're doing. And I just really feel like we have a great synergy. So I'm excited to work with you, brother, in the future.
Yeah, love you, brother. Sending prayers to your grandfather
Thank you.
on his transition, and I know he's going to be serving us all. So, if that
Thank you,
happens, so love you, man,
Thank you,
and
bro.
thank you, Sheila, for the opportunity, and love you all. Have a blessed rest of the conference.